Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Four Lads Rangers Midweek Podcast. As your favourite folk get together to discuss all things Rangers, fallout continues from the Sunday's result. A lot of strong online opinions, which we'll touch upon. We'll welcome any question and points you guys have also, as well as discussing and beginning the build up to what will be another frantic 90 minutes on Sunday coming. First of all, welcome, Kenny. How are we, mate? Are you well?
I am, mate. Yes, had a lovely day off and chilled. Was up the West End, picked my son up and stuff like that. So I had a nice wee day myself.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny is somebody that says he's continually busy at work, never gets a minute. And I have passed him twice in the last week or so, and both times he's been sitting on his arse doing sweet FA. Yesterday, when I passed his shop, I gave him a wee phone, just to alert him to the fact I was outside. And yet again, folks, he was doing sweet FA. Kenny?
Yeah, you drove past with your wee shades on and everything, didn't you?
Yeah, it was bright outside.
Yeah, you were. And you actually had the cheek to turn around and say to me, right, look outside. Well, I kind of gathered that you... Because your first thing you said to me was, why are you sitting doing fuck all? Is exactly what you said. So, yes, it was nice to see you. And, yeah.
Don't get away with that in my work, that's for sure. I'm busy all day, every day. Christopher, good evening, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I make sure you're busy, Stevie, so I don't need to be. I just realised when I was taking a drink of my tea there, I'm not a narcissist or anything, but I've got a picture of me when I graduated on my cup. So just people see me drinking, like, yeah, somebody got me as a present. So
not a narcissist, but quite narcissistic.
It seems quite a narcissistic trait to be drinking out a cup with my picture on it, but there we go.
Love it. Chris, we've not spoke to you since Sunday, so a chance for us to ask you your opinion on Sunday's game, and you had a couple of days to reflect. How do you feel about it now?
I'm not any different to how I felt at full time, but I'm just going to try and be as kind of reserved as I can tonight, because there's no point pouring more fuel on the fire. I'm pissed off, but what more can I say that hasn't already been said? It's really disappointed, and the collective, the team, the manager, individual players, it was just not good enough. But as I say, it's all been said, and I don't really see much more that I could add that probably hasn't already been said, other than just making people angry. So I'll try my best not to make people angry, but I'm genuinely really annoyed about the weekend. Was really looking forward to this weekend as part of the kind of double header, and my don't I say my optimism, because I still think we can win in Sunday. Definitely still think we can win. In fact, I still make us favourites, but that may just be blind optimism in itself. But I'm not. I don't know. It's a weird one. I'm not looking forward to it as much as I was if we'd beat them last Sunday. So I don't know if I'm on my own with that, or if other people feel that themselves. But that's certainly how I feel.
I think the second half performance maybe took a lot out of all of us. But what I would say to that is that we have demonstrated in the last two Old Firm games that we can really hurt them over two 45-minute periods. And then we've also had two dreadful 45-minute periods. So I think the first half at New Year, we were absolutely awful in the first half, and we're very lucky it was 1-0. And then we blew them away in the second half with a tremendous performance. First half on Sunday, we were excellent. They were probably lucky it was only 2-0. Fernandez header and things, we could have had more. And then we were awful in the second half. So we've got to somehow put that all together. Kenny, this has been discussed a lot. We covered it slightly on Monday night. I asked John Souttar, I asked Danny Rule about it. But the mentality question to this squad, John Souttar said it was a fair question. It's fair for the fans to question that mentality. But he also asked for the fans to judge them at the end of the season. That's a lot to ask this group of fans for patience, considering how starved of success we've been in the last decade or so. Is it fair to ask them to wait? And where are you on the old? And Chris, I'll ask you the same on the mentality of this squad.
Is it a fair question? Yes, it is. Of course, it's a fair question, because at this minute in time, and I'll not even include the Hibs game, but if you look at the Motherwell game, you look at the Livingston game, and then you look at the game on Sunday, even looking at them all in isolation, you've got good reason to question exactly what they're capable of. And that, whether people like it or not, that's just kind of the way I see it. It's the situation there for me is that I've said this many, many times on this podcast, Stevie, that since 2012, the tolerance levels, we've been asked to be patient and more patient, and then be patient again. And frankly, at some point, the club itself, and each season's different, right? But the club itself has to actually answer the question: what exactly is it that goes wrong every single year, bar one? And there's no point in kind of sugarcoating that. Whether, as I say, people at the club like it or not, mate, that the mentality of the club more than anything else needs to be questioned. Individual players, yeah, of course, you're going to question that. Individual teams, year in, year out, we're questioning that. But it's the mindset or the mentality of the football club. It doesn't seem to have that winner's mentality anymore. Whether people agree with that or not, I think there's an awful lot of people do see it that way, that there is a mentality issue within the club. John Souttar was absolutely spot on. I was with you when he said it, Stevie, and he said that if he were a fan, that's exactly what he would be asking. So, if you're one of your vice captains is quite openly admitting that, yeah, there is a question over our mentality, but asking for patience, I think that's quite fair for him to ask for the patience. Whether he's going to get it or not, I don't know, because I've you look at 2 seasons back under Clement, you can look at certain seasons under Steven Gerrard. At this time of year, when must wins are absolutely essential wins, we fail. And there's no getting away from it. When the chips are down, when cup finals or cup semi-finals or must-win league games in a title run in come, we struggle to get over the line. And why that is, I think, it's probably the one thing that Patrick Stewart did that I kind of agreed with, was that he actually said that, and him and Fraser Thornton both said it, didn't they? That they actually wanted to look at that and become aware of why this happened year in, year out. And that's where I see it, is Danny Rule is always going to protect his players. So I understand his kind of take on that on Sunday, not necessarily agreeing with it, because fans do question that mentality. But I understand John Souttar as well. But I do feel that it's a broader and more comprehensive situation that we need to look at. That's where I see it, because year in, year out, we kind of do this, Stevie, and particularly at this point in the season.
Chris, if you are making the point, and they're absolutely spot on, I think the questions on mentality only really stop when you start delivering trophies and start getting to tops of the league and staying there and winning things, I suppose.
Yeah, and just to pick Kenny up Money's points, which relates to what one of the listeners have said about we're miles ahead as a team than where we were under Martin. To Kenny's point, that's because we won games that we weren't really expected to win, or low pressure games. When you're 8th in the league and you just keep chipping away and getting win after win after win, that's a whole different kettle of fish. That's a whole different scenario than when you get to the top, and then those wins then get us to the top of the league, and you're unable to do it. it's not a question about ability anymore. It's a question about mentality. Because during Roll's the start of Roll's tenure, that's what we were doing. We were picking up win after win. We were putting points after points on the board, and it's because expectations, I believe, weren't really there. We were all calling this Rangers team one of the worst Rangers teams ever, and probably a wee bit harsh when you can see the evidence of some of the players coming to fruition that they are good players, like Chermiti, for example. But there was no expectation on them to really be in a title race, which I believe favoured the players and the team. And in the minute we get into a title race, we've kind of collapsed a little bit. I believe that there's enough evidence there to state that it is a bit of a collapse. Was it 4 draws in 6 games? When I think a couple of weeks ago, Stevie, we were talking about the fact that it was in our hands to win 2 games, Motherwell and Hearts, to then go top of the league, and now we're looking down the barrel at 4th place, but before the next time that we play. In actual fact, we could be 4th before the next time we kick a ball in the league. If Celtic win tonight, Motherwell will then beat Dundee at the weekend, and then if Motherwell then beats Celtic at Parkhead, that puts us in 4th, because we obviously play on the Sunday against St Mirren. So mentality, I think everyone's saying it in the comments, and Kenny said it himself, and so did you, Stevie. Mentality will only really stop being a thing and a question when they start winning big games and start lifting trophies. And right now, we've not really been there. It's people aren't really going to want to hear this, or people aren't really going to like to hear it. But 2-0 up at half time against Celtic, that suggests that ability-wise, we're either there or better than Celtic, especially when you consider how good we were at Parkhead. I don't believe Celtic are a better team than us. I don't believe. I don't also believe that we're miles better than Celtic, but they're certainly not a better team than us. So what it needed from Celtic at the weekend was leadership and mentality, and they had that both on and off the park. They had Mark O'Neill, who is obviously a leader, been there and done that. But what I seen from Celtic was Callum McGregor and Kieran Tierney dragging them back in the game. And what I seen from us was no one was willing to take responsibility. No one at all was willing to take responsibility. We needed a player to put their foot in the ball, get involved in the dark arts, slowing the game down, getting wee petty fouls and rolling about the ground for 2 minutes and just breaking the game up, getting them out their rhythm. There was one occasion in particular, Celtic, the ball went out for a throw-in for Celtic, and one of our players kicked the ball back to the Celtic player, and I'm just thinking it was 2-1 at the time, and I'm just thinking, what is going on here? And then you look at the biggest thing for me when it comes to mentality in this game was we didn't want the ball. The tactic clearly was to just keep launching it forward to Celtic, letting them have the ball because they're not good enough to hurt us. Might be something in that, but again, it doesn't always come down to mentality, because it doesn't always come down to ability, because when the mentality is that Celtic are trying to get back into a game and we're trying to defend the lead, you've got one team with a stronger mentality and another team with a weaker mentality. Something is going to give, and inevitably, I think we were all sitting in the stadium from 75 minutes onwards. Well, probably well before that, but certainly 75 minutes onwards, going, they're going to score again. And I had the weirdest thing. I was sitting next to one of my mates, both you guys know him, Eddie, and I actually said to him, if they're going to score, which I think they're going to do, I would rather they'd done it now, so we had time to get back in the game and try and nick a winner. Because I really didn't want the kick of the teeth at the last minute goal, and then inevitably that's what happened. So yeah, a lot to ponder and a lot to discuss and a lot to analyse, and it's completely a fair question that you asked, John Sutter. Bit of a cop-out for Sutter to state wait till May. He's been here long enough to know we're not as patient as that. We need to see the evidence now. But the way things are going, when it comes round to May, those words could bite him in the bum, couldn't it? The only thing I've got is just hoping that these players dig in deep for the next 2 months and somehow get over the line here. But with each passing week, with each passing poor results and poor performances, I'm not as confident as I once was. So it's difficult. It's difficult because we're talking about a very raw subject, and you're going to upset some people. And I can only talk about myself. I don't want to talk for yourself, Kenny, or yourself, Stevie. You obviously can let people know your own emotions, but I just know that that really it really angered me at the weekend and really, really frustrated me, because I know that we are probably more capable than more than that. That it wasn't an ability thing at the weekend. It definitely was a mentality thing, and I don't see it any other way. It was a mental collapse rather than Celtic outplayed us and were better than us. We allowed that to happen, evident by the fact that we didn't want to have the ball. Because as I say, I don't know how many times Butland just launched it aimlessly to Celtic's backline. They made the boy Dane Murray, made him look brilliant in that second half. Made him look absolutely brilliant because he won everything, because the ball was just coming to him and he was just picking it up, putting it into Hatate, and then Hatate was doing his thing, and we just sat back and watched it. It's disappointing. It's really, really disappointing, but I can't add any more than that because I'll just end up repeating myself.
We did do a lot well in the first half, and I suppose the biggest question, Kenny, is that I've analysed the game. I've watched what people have put online. I've rewatched. I think I know where we went wrong. I think I know how Celtic changed it. I spoke about it this morning quite a bit. The biggest question, I suppose, is, before we come on to Rule, we'll talk about him. I'm really keen to get Chris's viewpoint. We spoke about it Monday night. But how does Danny Rule get this squad in a position to win the game and stay there? And I think that goes to like some Motherwell and things like that. He's made us dangerous because he's changed the formation and things like that. So how does he get us there and keep us there? Or what changes does he have to make? Or how does he go about this game on Sunday to ensure that Rangers win the game? I spoke a lot about how they've let Celtic back in, and I will go over that again. But I feel I want to ask you and Chris, like, how does he get that position and keep it there?
Well, if I knew that, I'd be managing Rangers and he wouldn't, mate. But what does he do? I mean, we've got a sports psychologist there, haven't we? He should be doing overtime at the minute, try to get into the heads of some of these players, because when you find yourself 2-0 down at Livingston, and then the next week you find yourself 2 up and drawing 2 each, again, we're looking too many goals. These are coming from individual errors. I've said it already, it coincides with Giga coming out the team. Not that I think Giga's necessarily the answer, but I do feel that there was a more settled back four when he was in it for whatever reason. What does Danny Rule do? It's a really difficult question to answer, Stevie. Off the top of my head, I've already said this, that what he has to do is find that formula, and very, very quickly, to turn draws into wins. And again, that's the $1 million question at this moment in time. When you turn up at Livy and you're quite half-assed about the way you go about the game, and I think there's a slight complacency and a belief that they're just too good for Livingston, so it'll come. And then that I think they've walked off at half-time in the belief that the job was done. And you can never think that in an old firm game. You just can't. It was an absolute replica of the game at Parkhead, only in reverse, if you look at it and you're realistic. But you could say that we went in a goal down at Parkhead when we were lucky. It could have been 3 or 4, if you're being honest. And then it was the same on Sunday, where they could have been in 3 or 4. And these games just flip right on their head. So, again, it comes down, without battering on about this too much, it comes down to the mentality of those players and getting a winning mentality there or an unbeatable mentality, whatever way you want to put it. How Danny Rule goes about that, I'm not sure, Stevie, because I think they've shown us enough this season when you've drawn 12-year games. I mean, it's when have we played 29 games? Is that what it is? I think it is. When you're drawn over a third of your games, that's where the issue lies. It's not about ability then. It can't be. If teams can't beat you, the only team that's beaten us in the league all season's Hearts. One of them's a debatable game. So, you know, the first game at Ibrox was debatable, you could say, with the refereeing performance and VAR's performance. The second game we were fairly beaten, there's no question that, but we've won the next one. So I genuinely feel that it's the sports psychologist actually that should be working overtime, trying to get into individuals' heads and get it into their head that they are stronger than they are. How you go about that, I don't know, because I genuinely do feel that this is a mindset within the football club more than just a squad of players. I think it's an overall situation that we find ourselves in, Stevie, where at some point we're going to have to start winning things, or the question's always going to be there.
Chris, how does Danny Rule, same question as asked Kenny, how does Danny Rule keep us in a winning situation and turn us into a team that manages to get us over the line in games?
I think most people are nailing it in the comments, and it's what I've been saying for a good couple of weeks now, is the system. It's the system. I don't want to say he stumbled upon a system, because that's doing him a disservice, but he's found a system that works, gets goals and gets wins, which is 4-4-2. Chermiti needs another guy up there with him. We'll go 4-4-2 every time we're at home now, and we're destroying teams. We are destroying teams. Then away from home, we go 4-4-3-3 or 4-5-1, whatever way, kind of with and without the ball. And then on Sunday, just there, we took Nadiri off and reverted back to the 4-3-3 or the 4-5-1, whatever. It's a variation of the two, because sometimes the two wide guys will come in to try and cover the midfield. I mean, don't get me wrong, that didn't happen on Sunday. I think Hitati had the freedom of Ibrox, but that's the answer to me, Stevie. You know, there seems to be this conservative approach that when we get a goal or two, we try and hold on to it and we try and see the game out. We're not good enough to do that. We're not mentally strong enough to do that. However, when you take the handbrake off for this Rangers team, I believe there's enough there to suggest that we can finish games. Just keep at it, full pelt. I thought the approach against Motherwell was shocking. I just could not understand what he was trying to do there at all. Even well before a ball was kicked against Motherwell, I said this last week, Stevie, I said to you when we discussed it, just go for them. We got that goal, and then we sort of just sat back. They went down to 10 men, and then he put another defender on to go 5 at the back, and I'm just like, I don't get this. Again, inviting trouble. Livingston, we came off a fantastic victory against Hearts at Ibrox, where we went 4-4-2. We destroyed Hearts, albeit Hearts, you know, they got 2 sucker punch goals, but I think over the piece, over the 90 minutes, I thought we were excellent. And then we got into the game against Livingston, and we're kind of that variation of 4-3-3, 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it, and very, very conservative. Again, it's almost as if we were playing a team in Europe, and we're kind of trying to soak in the pressure and try and nick a goal rather than try to kill the worst team in the league. So that's what I believe is the solution. The solution is the best form of a defence is attack. This team cannot defend, but this team can attack. Albeit I don't think we can attack brilliantly. I don't think it's the best attacking Rangers team I've ever seen in my life, but we are definitely a better attacking team than we are a defensive team. But for whatever reason, if we get our nose in front, especially away from home, I'm saying that, but obviously the weekend we got our noses in front and we still sort of went into that conservative approach. But we need to just be brave enough to keep going, to get that killer goal. that killer goal is always going to be the third goal, no matter what game you're playing. 2-goal. I don't want to get in the cliche route of 2-goal lead is a dangerous lead, but it's always going to be that third goal. If Robbins scored that goal at the back post at the start of the second half, the game's done. Unluckily for us, it fell to the wrong guy. It fell to a defender who was at the back post. If it fell to Chermiti, that game's done. And in actual fact, just going back to the game there, I said to you today that, ironically, the way we started the second half, the first 5 minutes, I said I'm absolutely delighted because that shows that we're in a good place. We're looking to kill this game off, and then after that chance, we just fell away to dust. Really, it was quite an unbelievable trajectory that we're on that whole half. So that is my solution. Attack, buzz out, as I say. Just go for it. We literally have nothing to lose now. We didn't have it in the first place, so just go for it. And I believe that if it adopts this approach, we will win far more games than we draw between now and the end of the season. But my worry is that I just feel he's got this really stubborn, conservative side on him that ultimately could cost him prizes. But again, it's the proof's always in the pudding. I think he learnt a bit from the Motherwell game. I think he did. But then Livingston happened, and then Celtic happened. So he really needs to learn from Sunday just there. Like that, he really needs to learn because the pressure is starting to build, not just in Danny Rule, but the players as well. The fans are angry. They are angry because of the manner of the way that second half went, and we need to see something different. Whether we will or not, I don't know. But quite interested to hear what your thoughts are on what Rule needs to do, Stevie. Feels as if I'm the presenter and I'm bringing you in, Stevie.
I think you're right. I'll say it again, and I'm sorry if I'm boring people, but the reason we drew that game on Sunday is because the substitution didn't work. Go back and watch the first half, and it's pretty clear what we do. 2 up front, stop the defenders going centrally into the danger men. They didn't change formation at all during that game, but they couldn't get the ball past Callum McGregor. It just wouldn't come. And the reason is because Raskin and Chukwueze sat on Nigrin and Chamberlain, so they didn't get in the game at all. Our 2 wingers pushed right up on top of Arujo and Tierney, so all they repeatedly could do was go back to their centre-backs, who could only find McGregor, who had nowhere to go. We penned them in. We completely penned them in a 4-4-2, and it worked. Their spare man was Callum McGregor, who had no influence on the game. Their wide men did absolutely nothing, and we kept them up. Adamu, the boy up front, I think it is, offered nothing. So we smothered them, completely smothered them. And then when it switched, what happened was, and I don't understand why we did it, well, the 2 up front tired. And that was really evident really quickly. Chermiti, I think the last meaningful involvement he had was his flick that actually was pivotal in the game, because at the moment that they penned us in, we never got back out. But when he switched and tried to bring on Diamandi because Hatate was getting all the room, the reason he was getting all the room is because instead of going to their fullbacks, which we had penned in, they started going centrally because our 2 strikers couldn't close down anymore. So they got the spare man of Hatate in midfield. Our 2 midfielders, Raskin and Chukwueze, lost their legs, and everything lost their shape from our point of view. Subsequently meant Olsen, Moore, and Chukwueze, and Chermiti on the substitute to go to 3 completely were negated out the game, because instead of them going to their fullbacks went high and wide, and they just played it straight into the middle. Hatate, who spun, used McGregor, who was free, and they were able to pen us in, and we couldn't get out. And it was all to do with our system change. The way that we win on Sunday is by retaining the 4-4-2 position, but it's who he selects for me is interesting, because if he goes with Chermiti and Nadiri, which I think are the 2 best options, and they're the 2 best partnerships, Chris, The issue with that is that after 60 minutes, if they blow a gasket again, who are you bringing on? Because Miovski and Bayrami are the two that would need to come on, and would they be able to close down, and would they be able to do the same job? You need to then use your midfielders smarter as well. We really need Conor Barron. We missed Conor Barron because at 2-0, Conor Barron's the one to bring on, who just shores it up, who plays simple passes. Raskin and Chukwani and Diamandi, when he come on, none of them passed the ball. They were all just continuously giving the ball away and doing the wrong things. So it was a mixture of ball retention, and our press collapsed, and Celtic were just able to pin us in that we didn't get out. And it's all to do with the substitutions and players basically blowing a gasket for me, Chris. I would go with what you said. I really would keep it 4-2-2-2, 4-4-2, whatever you want to call it. And I would be inclined to potentially split Nadiri and Chermiti up. And I would potentially go Nadiri and Miovski, leaving Chermiti and Bayrami to start the game. And you could switch it after 60. And you should still have enough up there to try and cause them problems by going at a full force in the first half. We need to do something. We don't have 4 strikers, unfortunately. So you would need to do something that keeps them. I'm not a fan of the 4-3-3. I'm not a fan of the 4-2-3-1 because I don't think we play our best stuff. So it's about keeping them penned in and keeping them in there. So it'll be interesting to see if we can manage that or how he approaches it. We played 3 at the back at New Year. It didn't work. We went to 3 in midfield against them after that. And it worked because we still had 2 up front pushing them on when Asgard came off. So do we do the same? I would go and stick with 4-4-2 and just really go at them, Chris. So in variation of what you said, it's got a lot to. We need to learn how do I put this? When he got to 50 minutes and he could see we were getting penned in, that was the time to change it then. The time to freshen it up. Take the sting out of the game, make the subs, freshen it up, and then go again and try and keep that high press against them. Because when you do that, you effectively pen them in. When you release it and it's just Chermiti, he doesn't press. Bringing Gassama on the right didn't work either because he didn't press either. So they were just constantly coming at us the whole time. And the boy Taneki, Gassama didn't track back. He was running at Sterling. So there was a lot of factors in it for me. Raskin lost his way and began to get out of position quite a lot. I'm with you. I would stick at 4-4-2, but I'm splitting the team. And it's how I split the team that I'm not quite sure of. But do you go first team and then make radical changes at 60 and hope the second boys come through? Or do you split that? That's interesting for me, Chris.
No, I think I'm with you on that. I would definitely keep one of Nadiri or Chermiti on the bench, but I wouldn't keep Chermiti on the bench, to be honest. I would start him. Because he's obviously shown enough in this fixture that he relishes it, and his goals could be crucial by the 60th minute where we can look to freshen things up a wee bit. So I wouldn't be against Chermiti and Miovski starting and just having Miovski just kind of standing around about the penalty box and having Chermiti doing his running about. I think it could work. It's not ideal, but one at the end, it gives us a chance to freshen it up, as you say, on the elbow mark, bringing the Nadiri on, a fresh pair of legs, somebody that will run about more. I would also start Diamandi. I'd start Diamandi in the centre of park. So I would do that. And I would also start Sterling at centre half with Fernandez, and I would put Tav right back. I think Suter needs to come out the team as well, to be honest. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't think that will happen, but that's what I would do. But yeah, I see your logic and I agree with you. Have good players on the bench that can be fresh to come on in 60 minutes because I do think we could be in for extra time at the weekend, and that's a big worry. I think Celtic will. I'm not saying that they're going to play for extra time, but that would be ideal for them. It would be. So that's a concern for us. Definitely a concern for us. So I think we need to win the game in 90 minutes because if this goes to extra time, I'll be really worried for us. And the only way to do that is to do as you say, Stevie, just kind of split the strikers up and bring them on in 60 minutes, and hopefully by the 60th minute we're not chasing a goal, and you've got a fresh pair of legs, and you can keep setting up traps for the press. Because I agree with you, it was non-existent, completely non-existent. May as well not have been there. So yeah, that's how I would go. I do agree with one of the comments. Obviously, it's no good that they can't last 90 minutes, but it is what it is. That's where they're at the moment. What's the reason for that? I really don't know. I think you can look at two things, and this isn't making excuses. I think having a pre-season under Russell Martin and then he'd been dismissed so early, then a whole new team coming in, a good bit of disruption there, whole new ideas, could be whole different ideas. I don't know what Martin's approach was to Rowe's approach when it comes to fitness. We've had a lot of niggling injuries as well, and it's something we're not prepared to talk about as a fan base, but we've got a lot of young boys in that team that this is our first season playing with a big massive club with expectations, and that tiredness can creep in as well. Obviously that's more mental tiredness than physical tiredness, but I think they go hand in hand. So I do believe fitness levels is an issue, but I don't really know what we can discuss about that other than saying what we see, which it isn't good enough. Sorry.
Kenny, one of the biggest things from Sunday, and it's quite an obvious one as well, is if we can't keep a hold of the ball, we're not going to win the game. Our passing and our ability to keep the ball on Sunday in that second half was absolutely dreadful from key players. And if you've got Chukwani, Diamandi and Raskin in there, who are all who we would rely on and expect to be good performers, good players, and they can't keep the ball, and your retention of passing is 66%, and then as soon as Jack Butland gets it, he launches it like a fucking cannon every single time he gets it in his hands. We need to fix that, and that's job one with regards to Sunday. Keeping the ball is absolutely vital, and when you watch it again, the retention in that second half was quite simply abysmal. You have to keep the ball, otherwise we're just inviting it, and that's one of the major things that we need to fix, not only for Sunday, but in general going forward. That midfield isn't right, and the reason why we're conceding so many goals, somebody commented earlier, and I completely agree with them, that midfield isn't controlling games, and until it starts, we will keep inviting teams onto us, and it shouldn't be that way. Those three should dominate, and they're not capable of it, and that's wrong.
I slightly disagree with the pair of you here. I wouldn't be changing that front two at all. The front two in the first half were unplayable, Stevie. The way they were feeding off each other, the way one was coming deep, one was going left, one was coming deep, the other one was going right. They couldn't handle that at all. Our problems came when we tired. So I think a lot of the reason why we tired in that first 15 minutes, Nadiri's not 100% fit for whatever reason. I think that caused an impact. But the simple fact is that you've got Jack Butland giving the ball away 2 in every 3 times he's got it. You've got John Souttar having a very poor second half. You've got Nico Raskin and his lack of discipline in the second half. And there is your issue. It's right through that spine. But for me, the only question I've got, I would have the same starting 11, probably with the exception of I would be looking at probably considering whether to drop John Souttar for Nasser Jiga. That's the only thing that I would change and tell them to go out and prove that they can play. I don't know. As I say, it was through the spine on Sunday in the second half that collapsed, and that's your. When you look at it, it's Butland, it's Souttar, it's Nico, it's your kind of leaders in there. Then that's the problem, that it turned to shit in the second half. We know that. However, we need to hold a little bit of perspective and I'd suggest because the first half was exceptional. For as bad as we were in the second half, the first half was very, very good. again, it's keeping the ball, Stevie. We have had this issue for a long time. Chakwani has come in and done pretty well, Stevie, but Nico Raskin and Moti and Mandy are not the greatest passers of the ball. And if they're not passing the ball and they're losing discipline, which both of them did, I pointed out Nico Raskin, but when you come on, Dieter Mandy was just running about like a headless chicken in the second half. So that doesn't help. And that comes down, I'm afraid to say it again, that's blind panic, it's mentality, and it's getting them to focus properly and keep their heads when the chips are down, so to speak. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't change that front two at all. I would be looking at hoping to get Nadiri lasting a little bit longer than the hour, if we could get him lasting 75 minutes. And if Bojan Miovski can't come on and play 20 minutes for Rangers, just get close to Chermiti. That's all he's got to do. Get close to him. Just mark him. When the ball's coming to you, take a centre half and let Chermiti dictate the other one. It's not rocket science, Stevie, and that's what I would be looking at. I'm really confident we'll be winning this game on Sunday. I've got to say, I don't think they're any great shakes at all. I didn't think they were anything out of the ordinary in the second half at all. I thought we were just that bad that we allowed them to play. And I expect better. And I especially expect better at Ibrox, and particularly in a cup game where it's a knockout tie. So, again, as I say, for me, passing the ball's been an issue for a long time in the middle of the park, Stevie. It really has. We've got no great passers of the ball at the back either, if you're being honest. So that needs addressed in the summer. I think Danny Rowe and the recruitment team tried to bring a proper number 6 in and didn't get it. So that needs addressed in the summer. But for Sunday's game, that's my kind of take on it, Stevie. Pass the ball better. How we go about doing that, again, it's retaining composure and discipline and make a simple 10-yard pass. It isn't that difficult to do, but we're finding ourselves making it difficult for ourselves.
Kenny, Yusuf Chermiti's first goal was a thing of beauty. Chris, I'll ask you just the same thing before we round this up. Have you seen a better Old Firm goal than Yusuf Chermiti's on Sunday?
Sorry, on you go, Kerry.
Sorry, that's open to debate. I would suggest that at the time, it's the sheer speed it flies in at, Stevie. It's the acrobatics. It's the audacity to try it even. But yeah, we probably have seen better goals than that, if you're being honest. I mean, Ray Wilkins springs to mind instantly. It was just sensational.
What I was trying to ask is, have you seen a better goal live?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ray Wilkins.
Were you at that? I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Kenny, that was what, 89?
89, I think it was, wasn't it? 5-1.
I know you're 70, but I was just didn't.
89, you're right. Yes, thanks, mate. Yes, I was at that game, yes. And we should have beat them more. Everybody says that it was there, but we should have beat them 8 or 9, mate. Graham Souness come on and started to take the piss. When if they had stopped doing that, we would have taken 8 or 9 off of them that day. Have I seen a better goal? Yeah, that's probably the best Rangers goal I've ever seen, the Ray Wilkins one, if I'm being honest. But I'll tell you what, it's debatable, because I don't think I was quite as speechless when Ray Wilkins scored as I was on Sunday. So give me a couple of weeks or a month or 6 years or 10 years to think about it, and I'll let you know. But there's very few I've seen that are better than that in a game against them. No.
Chris?
Yeah, it's one of those ones. I'd probably be more fond of the goal if we won the game, and would probably say I'd be on here the night, all giddy and stuff, saying it was the best goal I've ever seen in any football game. But because of the context of the game, it's a shame for somebody actually. Is it the best goal I've ever seen? I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't at Parkhead for the game when Mendes scored that. I was at Ibrox for Jamie Nessie's goal. I thought Jamie Nessie's goal was an absolute screamer. But it's a different kind of goal because it depends what you see in a goal. I also remember when we beat Celtic 2-0 under Walter, his first game back at Ibrox. Charlie Adams' goal, no, that wasn't like spectacular, but the audacity to go under the wall, you know what I mean? Like that's a brilliant goal. I think with the context with drawn 2-2, it probably isn't the best goal I've ever seen in my life. But again, that's just raw. I'm the same as Kenny. Ask me in a couple of weeks, and I might have calmed down, and I might have a different opinion. What I will say though is, for as good as his first goal was, it's a bit of a shame that nobody's talking about that second goal, because that was for me every bit as good as the first, because the composure and the skill and the damn right cheek of him. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant goal. It's getting nowhere near the credit that actually deserves. People are making out that the Celtic defenders weren't strong enough, or weren't good enough, or were too weak, and Chinmate had a tap in. There's a lot more to it. He had to put the press on Murray, then had to flick the ball over Araujo, and then the finish was absolutely fantastic. There was nothing simple about it at all. He just made it look good. So, two brilliant goals, worthy of winning any football match. And unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about that goal as fondly as we should have. But I'm with Kenny. I can't answer if it's the best goal I've ever seen, but it's probably the one goal that left me completely speechless. And again, a wee bit different for you guys because you were in the gantry. It's one of the maddest celebrations I've been involved in, because everybody was totally like, what the fuck just happened? And that everybody just went mental.
To be fair, Chris, it was quite mad up there and all.
Okay, couple of favourites. I don't mind going through these. Bert Conterman. I was at Hampden that night. Peter Lovenkran's last minute in the 3-2 Scottish Cup final, which was probably up there with Morissette last minute. Not spectacular, but for moments at Old Firm games and being your favourite, yeah, absolutely. Another one, which I really, really liked because we just went behind, was Ronald de Boer's header at Parkhead in the 3-3 game, which was an incredible header. What a cross by Neil McCann, gets down the left. Amo went on a run and played it out to him. I was at that, and that was a really good game to be at. Arthur Newman in a 1-1 draw at Ibrox was an incredible strike right into the top corner of the Copeland. That was a 1-1 game. So there's a few in there that have been quite good. So that's pretty decent. So there's a few that ring in mind, but they're not special for me. Like Chinmate, we're just going to remember that in the 2-2 draw as good as it was. And by the way, Yusuf deserves all the credit. I thought striking wise, he was brilliant. We need him to do that again. Boys, well done. A good show.
I want to tell you something, Stevie. And Chris mentioned the celebration. The biggest celebration I've ever had for a game against them was in the 91-92 Cup semi-final. Davy Robertson had been sent off, and it wasn't a siege that night. It was the Alamo, and we scored with the last kick of the ball in the first half. And the Rangers end that I have never seen anything like that in all my days to this day. I've never seen a celebration like that. It was unbelievable that night at Hampden Park, and it was it wasn't a wind; it was a tornado. It was going about the place. It was lashing down. It was just one of the most memorable games I've ever been at. I can remember so much of that game, and the late great Andy Gorham was just sensational on the night.
Yeah, Stuart McCall won the ball in midfield, got the ball back to Coisty, first time hit, slightly behind him, right into the corner. Lovely. Before we go, scores on the doors: Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 1, Brighton 0, Arsenal 1, just went half time, Fulham 0, West Ham 0, City 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Newcastle 0, Manchester United 0. Shock scoreline in Scotland because Aberdeen have actually scored against Celtic. So obviously that was by accident, but they are currently 1 each with Celtic, who scored after 4 minutes up there. So yeah, scores on the doors, all good. I'm going to go and watch, I think, Newcastle Man United. I think I'll go and sit and watch that. Always a good fixture. So yeah, there we are. Chris, thank you, mate. We're looking forward to the game on Sunday with you. It should be a really good game.
Listen, I think there's no doubt about that. The one thing I'll say, and please don't misinterpret this as giving Celtic any credit whatsoever, but the one thing that's guaranteed in Old Firm matches in the last 18 months to 2 years is you'll get drama, you'll get a good game, you'll get everything you don't get down south, except the quality, maybe. The quality isn't always there, but you get everything else. So it will be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. Today's Wednesday. I'm fairly optimistic, but I'm still not quite. There's swelling, but I'm not quite. It's not quite pumping. By Friday night, by Saturday, obviously I'll be totally buzzing for it, and I'll be over this being scurred from last weekend. So it will be a brilliant occasion to be part of, and I'm the same as you, Stevie. I look forward to spending it with you. And if we don't win, then I'll never be back. So I think that's fair to say, isn't it? I think that's fair to say. But no, listen, it'll be a good game. It won't. Neither team is. Neither team's going to run away with it. It's not going to be a 2-3-4 0 to either team. It's going to be fairly tight. It's going to be nip and tuck. It's going to be good. And I do think we can win. I'm not defeatist at all about this weekend. I genuinely think I can win. That's why I'm angry about last weekend, because we should have won. And I do believe we're better than them. They just need to turn up. They need to turn up. And I'm pretty confident they will, because they've got a point to prove to us now, the fans. And this is a thing that gets missed. And I want to make this point. The club have asked the fans to be there in their numbers for 90 minutes. Have your voice be heard. We've held up our end of the bargain now. So we have. We've been there. We've been in the stands, and I believe less and less people have been going away early. So I think the team know that they owe us one, and I think they will. I think they will turn up this weekend. So I'm forward to it. Sorry for rambling on at the end there. I know you're trying to go away watching football.
Not at all. Kenny, thank you, mate, as ever.
No, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Look, to the viewers and listeners, we wanted to come on and just dissect it a little bit and go into a bit more depth and detail. And I feel we've done that. But I want everybody to understand that I think we're all fully aware this Rangers team is a good side. It's getting better, but it can be better. And the lapses in concentration are the issue for me. And I just feel that we're more than capable. We've done it already this season under Danny Rule. We went 9, 10, 11, 12 games, whatever it was, where we won every single one of them. We're going to have to do it again. Can we do it? Yeah, probably. Will we do it? Well, it remains to be seen. But thanks for watching, and I just feel that, as I say, I think we all wanted to just kind of get this monkey off our back and look to the future now and get last weekend out of our system. So thanks, guys.
When did Kenny become the sensible one? Who knows?
You're on, mate. That's all it is.
Another shocking development tonight at Pittodrie is that Aberdeen's goal was a penalty. So obviously somebody is getting removed from official dome for that one. Chelsea lead 2-1 now, just before half-time, João Pedro again. So that could be a potentially really vital result. Aston Villa are a bit of free fall down there. I would just like to thank everybody for joining us in the comments. It's never easy when you're coming on the back of a result like Sunday to try and be diplomatic, to try and assess it, to try and give you a sensible viewpoint. Everyone's angry. I don't buy into the what I feel is really harsh criticism of the manager and the players. I don't think we're good enough, and I think we need another 5-6 players in that squad. And I really believe that we can get there under Andrew Kavanagh, but maybe not as quickly as we all hope, which was that year. We just need to keep going. And with Chris and with Kenny, we can definitely win on Sunday. We're not a bad side. We're not an excellent side. We're not a bad side. And we can definitely win on Sunday, especially if we turn in a performance. We've got players that can hurt them. Romans, Mikey Moore. We just need to make sure that we continue to get the ball to them in the best way possible, as we did on Sunday for large spells of that first half. So that's what we need to do, and we're more than capable of it. As for everybody joining us, really massive thank you. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, and our very own Candid. Huge thanks as well to our partners, Black Rooster and Art of Gold. We really appreciate all your support. Before we go, we are playing Northern Ireland on the 28th of March. 3 weeks on Friday. So 3 weeks on Saturday, rather, I beg your pardon. So if you wish to join us, please do get a ticket. They are in the description. They are £12.50. No hidden charges, all in. So we would love to see you all there, and we'd love to see you all joining us. We really, really appreciate it. And on that note, we will be back Friday evening. Boys are back on Friday night for the usual Friday show. Andrew, Amrit, Calvin, and then on Saturday, I think myself, Davey, possibly Kenny, if he swings in, and we'll be live on Old Firm preview at 7 o'clock for half an hour or so. So we hope we're bringing you good content, and we hope that you're enjoying what we do here in Four Lads. If you do, please like and subscribe, and consider becoming a member. You can do. Again, link is all in the description, and we hope to see you all again. Have a good night. Enjoy the football if you're watching it. We appreciate your support as ever. Thanks to the boys, Chris, Kenny, and myself. On behalf of all of us, thank you. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.